The following is a presentation of The Day.
It's Friday night and time for a heavyweight battle between the gold standard and the undefeated. And it's all going to be live on Game Day. Game Day is brought to you by Waterford Dental Health, voted the #1 best dental practice 6 years in a row by the day's Best of the Best Reader's Choice Awards. That's Waterford Dental Health. Casey O'Neill along with the sports doctor Keith O'Brien. And tonight, the gold standard, last year's undefeated NFA Wildcats, the best team in the league over the past few years. The bar has been set with them against the Fitch Falcons, undefeated this year off of a 17-3 last year. The team trying to dethrone the gold standard.
Yeah, right now, Casey, Fitch, the Falcons are flying high, 4-0 this year on this young season thus far. And NFA comes to this game kind of limping a little bit. 2-2, picked off in overtime against Ledyard, last week. And in a game of, who separates themselves in the ECC. We talked about this week, game 5, game 6. We might see the cream rise to the top a little bit. So we're going to see NFA kind of get back in the mix, or we see Fitch get that separation they have between themselves and a couple other teams in the league.
So, the Falcons, you mentioned flying high. And last year was a coming out party for them, a very young team, a lot of sophomores and freshmen. And they were led by the great Ajayi Brown.
Yeah.
He's gone, and now this group is led by a new face, still only a junior, but Janiel Hernandez is, in his coach's words, the real deal.
A real deal, a little chip on his shoulder out there. Had a great summer league, averaged 30 points a game against some stiff competition. And Coach Sylvan talks about the program he has now at Fitch. We're not just a 1- and 2-year team here. We've got a program, and we want kids to fit our style of play. So I think Coach Sylvan has liked what he saw, the maturation of his program the last 3 years. And it doesn't help to have a kid like Hernandez.
No, he was.
Doesn't hurt. I'm sorry.
No, I mean,
it only helps.
He was good last year. They graduated a couple of they graduated Atal and Brown, but the guys they have back, whether Hernandez and the Kershaws and Anderson, this is a group of kids who last year had the chance to grow, and now with the premier guy gone, they're all stepping up, and I just love the way Fitch plays, which is super aggressive defense, out and run. You are going to see them put it to NFA from a tempo standpoint. And for Coach Chris Giusti and the Wildcats, nothing new, right? They've been here before, but they will be without their leading scorer, Jared Martin. We'll talk a little bit more about that after the national anthem.
Stand, please do so. Football headwear for the playing of our national anthem.
Technical difficulties here at Fitch as we're efforting the national anthem. In the meantime, you can hear just how quiet it is in 2021 gymnasiums.
There you go.
As we get ready for tip-off, 37-29 East Lyme is leading at the half.
Who they're playing? You have to say who they're playing.
I'm
That's
sorry.
fantastic information,
I'm
but who are
just
they playing?
I'm just laughing right now because they're playing St. Bernard's.
What's so funny? 37
Right now there is. We're gonna. Well, you know what?
The league. You're laughing at the league.
I'm laughing
You're
at
laughing
the league.
at the league, yes.
There's so many things to talk about,
Oh,
Sports Doctor,
my
but right
goodness.
now I want to remind everyone that we're still interested in seeing where you're watching the game tonight. All right, send us a photo on Facebook or Twitter at GameDayCT. We'll include you in the broadcast. We'll pop you right up. We want to know where you're watching it. Where's our best fan section out there? Some of these pictures have been fabulous, so of course send it through Facebook or Twitter. We'll get you on the air. I'm laughing, Sports Doctor, because we saw NFA beat St. Bernard's.
Sure.
And we said, all right, NFA's there, St. Bernard's not quite ready yet. And we saw St. Bernard's go out, knock off Waterford.
Yep.
Saw Waterford beat New London. New London beat Ledyard and NFA. NFA loses to Ledyard. I mean, other than this Fitch team, it is open season.
It's a
East Lyme beats New London the other night.
Yeah.
And you think it's an upset until you see the score.
Sure.
Oh, man, I'll tell you, the league is wide open.
It should be a fun ball game tonight. Jared Martin, we talked about him. We teased him a little bit. Not playing tonight.
Yeah,
Coach's decision.
Yeah, he's not with the team right now. And that brings me, we've talked about it, but, you know, at the end of last year, if you want to look at a tipping point for NFA, as Outlaw spins, kicks back, a drive to the basket and missed by Sproul. At the end of last year, NFA was undefeated and arguing that they may be the best team in the state.
Number one.
All right?
Yep.
Since that period of time, 3 of the starting 5 off of that team are no longer playing on this team.
Jackson.
3 that should have been here. As Jackson transfers,
Yep.
Ulrich is hurt,
Yeah.
and now
Martin.
Martin's not with the team. So 3 of the starting 5 that they expected to have this year aren't here. So this group out here is
Different.
a
Just
whole
a different crew.
So first set, miss on both sides. We got Boone and Sproul as your backcourt. Out low, gets the ball down low. Spins, double teamed. Reach in, on the floor goes Greaves, and Hernandez will push the other way for the Falcons.
Coach Sylvan talked about Hernandez possibly being one of the best players in the state before the game. I chit-chatted with the coach. I had that luxury before the game of sharing some intimate time with the coaches and some just
Absolutely.
talking with them a little bit and
Well,
figuring out what's going on over
the
there.
comparison Charles Sylvan made was interesting.
Yes.
Because he made a comparison of that's awfully lofty.
Sure. He compared him to Mikey Bissetto. He's just a little bit undersized and plays with a chip on his shoulder, and it is a lofty comparison. But I mean, he believes in his player, so why wouldn't he say that?
Greaves has to step out of the game for a moment, and Anderson will check in. Colin Anderson, the 6'4" wing, the junior.
1-2-2 trap out of that. No, straight man. Fitch wants to turn you over, Casey, then get out and run.
And there's
on cue. There's a turnover
turnover.
right there. Good, great on-ball defense there by Hernandez.
NFA with the basketball in the hands of Sproul. Now, we didn't see a lot from Sproul in the first time we had NFA earlier this year, so he's handling the ball. Last time we saw Grover Boone handle the ball the majority of the times. Sproul, quick, jump step, hangs, right hand. That's a nifty basket by the senior, Tyler Sproul.
Who steps up tonight without Martin in the game?
We see a little trap in action from NFA. We haven't seen that before, forcing a turnover. Francis gets bumped, and they're going to say
he got bumped.
Yeah, St. Phil Ravix had him boxed in on the sideline, but was able to avoid the foul call, which surprises me. So inbounds right in front of us, and Hernandez I like Hernandez's sneakers, by the way.
Yeah.
That's always important to me.
You've been on that all year long with these teams.
I
these
love the sneakers.
Yeah.
Got to get Anderson involved, the shooter. I love it. Swing it to him. Remember that he brings the house down with the rain. Might hit the rafters here.
Active 2-3 zone here by the Cats. Again, a little 1-2-2, maybe 2-3. Pierre-Louis up at the top of the circle.
Kershaw swings. Yeah, it's that.
That's how you beat it.
Yeah,
that's how you beat it. A little
Yep.
swing pass down low on the backdoor end.
It's that 3-2 that we've seen both teams. We saw Waterford play it a little bit, and I'll tell you right now, Fitch is the first team that attacked it the right way, which is a diagonal into the post, and just a mishandle the other direction. Floater in the lane is good by Sproul.
Yep.
Back-to-back baskets by the senior.
He's got to step up tonight. Football player, Sproul, too. Very good one.
And there's a trap. Picked up the dribble, Anderson.
Anderson draws a lot of attention over there from out low when he gets the ball.
Again, swinging it around the perimeter isn't going to get it done. They got to get that inlet pass. Three, first of the game, and nothing but the bottom of the net for Hernandez.
As advertised, 3 for 3, says Hernandez. Like that catch and shoot and rhythm. No hesitation, Casey.
Pierre-Louis will step up to the top of the zone and give it over back to Sproul. A little surprised, Fitch is not as active defensively. There's a great look underneath. Basket is good, and the foul.
Yeah.
Beautiful look by Sproul to Pierre-Louis for the finish.
Well, that's a good point, too. Fitch is kind of sagging back on defense a little bit. Sproul can step into the paint. He's done it a couple times in a layup. Now the dish, the delivery to Pierre-Louis. That's a great play there by Sproul. We haven't not seen too much of him this year. I mean, he was kind of non-existent in the game we saw against St. Bernard's.
Yeah, didn't play much at all.
Oh.
Greaves back into the ball game and replacing Kershaw.
Is this one of these games where he needs to, without Martin in the action?
I like his game, I'll tell you that. Hernandez will come back and take it. High lob to Anderson.
Right on the double team on the shooter in the corner.
And there's great hands by Francis. Tipped away, ball on the floor, and it's going to be a jump ball favoring Fitch. But this defense, NFA, extending out and giving Fitch some problems.
Yeah, so right now in the first 4 minutes of the game, NFA more active. Active hands, active going to the paint. A little more aggressive on both ends of the floor.
And we have
mask break.
Our first mask break. And we're going to come back on the other side with breaking news, and you're not going to want to miss it. You're watching Game Day Live on theday.com. Well, Game Day learned before the game tonight that NFA head coach Chris Giusti, 21 years as a coach at the academy, 13 years as an assistant, and 8 as a head coach, with 2 regular season and 2 tournament championships as a head coach, is stepping down as head coach at the end of the year. He has told the school that he will not be back next year as the head coach of the NFA basketball team, and that leaves a big job with big shoes to fill at the end of this year.
Amazing. He's just, I was shocked when I heard that walking into the gym tonight.
Swing. Hernandez, another 3. In and out. Strong rebound by Francis. I would say that Coach Giusti went from being a guy that I liked a lot to a guy that I absolutely adore. I mean, he's been so good to us, but he has been such a great ambassador for high school basketball.
Yeah.
And we'll talk more about the academy and what that job looks like in a few minutes. Francis drives and tipped out of bounds, and it will go, instead no tip, out of bounds. It'll be a turnover, Fitch ball.
No, I can tell you this. I'm sorry, Casey. He came in. He was a Neil Curlin disciple, and Neil kind of helped me get involved in coaching back in the day with Bacon Academy and Dave Souza, and that tree that Neil had built from Wyndham to NFA, and then when he stepped back and Coach Juicy came in, like I said, 8 years, he won a championship on his first year at the helm, and then it took him 7 more to win it, but he got it last year, and he probably had one of the top 3 best teams in the state. There's no doubt about it. He could have argued number 1, but I will say they were top 3 or top 4. At the very worst, the top 4 team.
You got to say, East Catholic, Windsor, and, and you're right there with NFA.
NFA.
And if you want to pick another team to say that they're in the mix, but 100%.
Yeah, no worse than 4th. I can tell you that right now. We had a chance to see Windsor last year. We had a chance to see East Catholic. So, maybe on any given night, NFA was a better matchup with East Catholic than the more athletic Windsor. But he has done a tremendous job with this program, in my opinion.
And it's in many ways, you talk about what's the premier job in the ECC, and you could argue the New London job. You could argue the Waterford job.
Yeah.
But to me, NFA is the only school that I could guarantee should compete every year based on the size of the enrollment and the diversity that they bring from so many different towns with so many different kids. If you're a coach, as Coach Curlin showed, as Coach Juicy showed, you win there. If you're a good coach, you can win.
You win there, yeah. Yep.
So, 7-3 NFA here in the early going. And I love that they have Pierre Louis up at the top of this.
Yeah, and it's really taken a lot away from Hernandez shooting the 3 ball, and it's they're not getting the ball. Like I said, get the ball to the high circle. Kershaw's going to have to come up and make himself available, not just be somebody who's up there taking up space. Make yourself available.
They're moving Hernandez around. He's not running. He's not facilitating anymore. They're moving him around. That's a good look underneath. Left-handed basket is good by Kershaw.
And a big man move by Kershaw. The drop step, the turn, and the finish with the left. And again, listen, be active, young fella. Things will happen to you. Good things.
Now, I love what Coach Sylvan did. There's a good look, kick out low, with a friendly bounce.
Oh boy, shooter's touch and then some.
Hey, that's a home court bounce right there for the visiting team. I love what Coach Sylvan did off the mask break. He's gotten the ball out of Hernandez's hands, and he ran Hernandez into the middle so that Hernandez can catch, shoot, facilitate. And so you see him running baseline. A long 3 by Anderson is no good.
That was from Groton Long Point. We are in Groton Long Point, but that was from the beach side of Groton Long Point.
I agree.
That was from.
I agree.
Oh man, that was from Noank.
If you listen to that shot closely, you can hear the ocean.
Yes, that's it. My goodness.
Dump down to Outlaw. And picks up his dribble, and he's going to walk there.
Thought he got pushed, but
and he did.
That was a good call. That was a good call, though. It was all right.
Well, we got Dan Henderson and Lou Oleski out there, and they're both allowing a little bit of contact. So which is good. Let the game breathe a little bit. The physical nature of it.
Yeah.
9-5. I thought this was going to be a little bit more of a track meet. You can see NFA much more content pinching down, and now.
Yeah, I think the zone is giving Fitch some fits right now. I just think the length of NFA at the top is really disrupting Fitch's offensive rhythm. They've got to flash somebody to the high post.
Anderson with another long 3, no good, and
that is
one and done for Fitch every time. And one and done.
Too.
One and done. That's the Falcons have gotten no offensive rebounds. Out low, pump fake, nothing. Strong rebound, Click finds Pierre Louis with the finish. That's a nice move by Joe Click with a dish, and Pierre Louis gives a 6-point lead to the NFA. And there's a step in. For those that couldn't see what just happened, I just displayed some soccer skill with a basketball coming my way. Anderson, 15 seconds remaining, and NFA with the 6-point lead. Kick out and a turnover again, ball on the floor. And we're going to get a tie-up, and it's going to stay here with Fitch with 5.3 seconds remaining. Substitution coming in. Jason Hammer coming into the ball game, replacing Elijah Black. Not to mention, by the way, I pray Jason Hammer scores a point today, because there will be something for that name. That's a great name. If he could ever dunk. Oh, there he shoot away straight 3. Got it! It's Hammer time. Hammer don't hurt him. At the buzzer, and Fitch brings it to within 3. You're watching Game Day live on theday.com.
Okay, class. What do you want to be when you grow up? Jace.
I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be a ballerina. I want to be an astronaut. I want to be homeless. I want to hear scary voices no one else can hear. I want to be addicted to drugs. I want to be an actress. I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be an actress. I want to be a football player. I want to be an
Not one child has dreams of these things becoming a reality. Sometimes choices are set before we even have a voice.
With Sound Community Services, I found my voice.
Game Day is brought to you by Waterford Dental Health. At Waterford Dental Health, your smile and your health are our top priority. Waterford Dental Health, Boston Post Road in Waterford. 3-point NFA lead as Jason Hammer hit a 3 at the buzzer, and the sports doctor will be talking with NFA coach Chris Giusti, whose team minus their number one scorer Jared Martin has a 3-point lead at the end of the first period. Sports doctor.
Well, Coach, you guys got a 3-point lead here at the end of first quarter. What was working out there for you guys?
We got the offensive line in right now, so we're just trying to run like power sweep,
Okay.
and get positive yards on every play.
Coach, one thing I noticed too, one and done on the defensive boards for you guys. Crashing the boards, limiting Fitch to one scoring chance.
We have to play like that from now on. The rest of this season, we have to play like that, and so far so good.
All right, good luck, Coach.
East Lyme 50, St. Bernard's 34 at the end of 3, or in the third. A big basket by Hammer, but you gotta love Coach Giusti being very, very honest, which is right now they're doing max protect. That's what they're running right now. They are definitely two tight ends. Drive, baseline, floater, can't go by Boone. Outlaw with the rebound, and very quickly back in the hands of Sproul.
He's beautiful, isn't he?
That's one of the, listen.
That is an honest answer, as honest answer as you're going to get from a high school coach.
In a year where we've heard some varying degrees of answers from our coaches, that was about as honest and refreshing as possible. He's like, hey, listen, max protect two tight ends. You know, we're Hernandez drives and kicks. Baseline.
Oh, good look.
Seamus. He wasn't ready. He wasn't ready. So he doesn't get it.
A
11-8.
little touchdown, a little lay down there by Hernandez.
Yeah, and Coach
Finished it
Sylvan's
himself.
And Coach Sylvan's telling him though. He's telling Seamus, you got to be available. How many So he made the comparison to Mikey Bisetto, right?
Sure.
How many times did we see Mikey Bisetto hit his teammate in the head
Yeah,
because the teammate wasn't ready for a pass, right? So if you're going to play with a dynamic playmaker,
Yes,
you have
you
to
gotta
always
be
be ready. Always be ready for the
We
basketball.
talked about some kids that play basketball at 100 miles an hour, and some other kids only playing at 45. Well, you gotta at least get to 55 and make yourself available.
Just with get your hands here.
Hands here.
It's a floater, blocking foul, and going to the line will be Sproul. He'll shoot two.
Yeah, and Sproul's out of a little bit extra dimension right now that I think Coach Giusti needs. He talks about the front line, but Sproul's playing basketball. He's cutting his way through the zone pretty good, Casey. He's getting his teammates involved, and he's being extremely aggressive.
What I really like, Sports Doctor, is the length of Pierre Louis and the athleticism combined with the size of Outlaw allows them. And let's not be. And Francis has got some size too.
Sure he does.
But it allows them to go tiny with Boone and with Sproul. Let them be sort of the.
Slips through the cracks.
Yeah, they're like
get into the middle and penetrate a little bit.
And that size is, and then when they play the zone, Pierre Louis being able to go up to the top of it,
right,
kind of hides them on the wings of the zone. I like what they're doing with a diminutive guard.
How much are we seeing too when a team is down their star player? The other guys start to play a little bit unselfishly. And right now, NFA's doing that. They're not playing selfish basketball.
Well, right now, everyone on the NFA team could make a case that when they have the ball in a scoring opportunity, they should shoot it.
Sure.
When Jared Martin's on the floor, you're always looking to get the ball to him.
Right.
And that's nothing against him. He's a dynamic scorer. But right now, everybody on this NFA team is sort of sharing the basketball.
They have to be involved. Yeah. They have no other choice.
Now, I like what Fitch has done with Hammer and Anderson. Now, they want to try to get Hernandez involved, and you can't make that long diagonal pass against an athletic team like NFA. Outlaw intercepts, and then right back in the other direction, Outlaw is going to get fouled by Hernandez. But Fitch is still not figured out. You can't go long cross court.
No.
That's never going to get through that zone.
Still waiting for, we saw Kershaw a little bit active down below, but get active on that high post.
Sometimes a player is built and looks like their name. Joe Click looks like his name. He reminds me of Joe Klecko.
Sure.
The hair's growing out. It looks like he could run through
21,
a wall.
yeah.
He's built like a lineman. Joe Click, looking like his name.
Clearing out for Outlaw there. It's Click.
Jump stop. And that's a nice
There's
little
the
move.
play. There's the play right there. Click, you come down, you take out 2 or 3 people, talking about the front line. Outlaw catches, turns, and finishes. Perfect.
Veteran senior, knows his role, gives it to the sophomore.
Coach McCoolist drew that one up.
He did. Ball's on the floor, and it'll stay Fitch ball. But right now, the message for Coach Giusti was in this team, they might not have as much offensive firepower, so they're turning up the defense. And they're giving different looks. I love the different looks that they're giving to Fitch. So sometimes they extend the pressure. Sometimes they trap. Sometimes they sit.
What's the mindset you think of some of the players are on the floor when your star player and your leading scorer is not with you?
I'm going to give you 2 different mindsets, both that I had at various times in my sports career in baseball.
That's a tough pass, that cross-court pass like that.
So some of them, at different times, by the way, as Boone jets into the open floor. You want to talk about 2 quick guys because Hernandez stepped in and picked them. That's 2 guys who can really move with and without the basketball. Part of the mentality for some of these guys is, thank goodness, now I'm going to get a chance to shine. Another dangerous pass and a foul. I think Click banged into Elijah Black. So for some of these guys, it's, this is my chance to shine.
Yeah.
But for some of them as well, and it could be the same person in the same game, it's also, wait a minute, who's going to take this shot? Right now it's free flowing, but as we get closer to the end of a quarter, as we get into the crunch time, then it's going to be, are you still willing to take that shot? Are you still willing to be
minutes
that?
Of the game.
Yeah. It's nice to say you want the ball in your hands, but people don't realize how much that star alleviates the pressure of having the ball in your hands. So Fitch basketball, 6-point deficit, and Anderson will leave the game, and we'll get Seamus Greaves back in. Inbound by Ravix. And they're going to get his ball back into his hands, a sophomore. Nice look underneath, but Greaves couldn't handle it.
Yep.
And that was another good look by Hernandez.
He's going to have those chances.
Up ahead, Pierre Louis found himself too much under the basket. Now Hernandez is going to push the other direction. Does not have numbers. Hesitates underneath, and Kershaw will wrangle it. Back to Kershaw. Left-handed, can't finish. That was a good look by Greaves. Got to make those when you have that chance. And that should be a foul, and it is.
It's a high screen, yeah.
Yeah, Jason Benoit moving, that kind of moving hip toss, hip check. I've been guilty of those on the basketball floor. They're easy to do.
Man.
You get there late, you throw the hip out a little bit.
Trying to count how many games I actually finished in high school by not falling out. 3.
How many games did you score more points than fouls?
A couple. I was there for a couple of different reasons, and scoring was not one of them.
The gritty sports.
We had a good time, man. Had a good time. My teammates knew that I had their back. How's that?
Powerhouse.
That's important.
The Powerhouse Wheeler Lions.
A good team. My senior year, we had a good team.
Sproul. Outlaw, pull up from the elbow. Back iron, no good.
Good look.
Push by Kershaw. Kicks it out. Hernandez thought about it for a second. 3, no good. Underneath, rebound. Greaves puts it to the floor.
Keep working.
Kick out. Black 3, got it.
Well, there you go. Greaves working, lunch pail, kick out. 3rd chance scoring opportunity there for Fitch. His 3rd 3-pointer tonight.
Yeah, and that's really been
That's been their bread and butter, yeah.
It's what kept them alive right now, because they really haven't only been, they've been one and done for the most part. One of the few opportunities they've had at an offensive rebound. Chris Giusti with a quick timeout. So 14-11, 3 minutes remaining. We're going to do a mass break right now. 3-point lead for the visiting Wildcats. Join us on the other side. You're watching Game Day live on theday.com. Game Day is a production of The Day Publishing Company. If you'd like to support Game Day and help us continue to bring you the best in Connecticut high school sports, please consider purchasing a print or digital subscription to The Day at theday.com/subscribe. So, as always, we want you at home to let us know, where are you watching the game? Send us a photo on Facebook or Twitter, because you know what, Sports Doctor? We want to know who has the best virtual fan section out there. Send us a photo on Facebook or Twitter at GameDayCT, and we're going to include you in the broadcast.
The Day strives to cover stories our readers care about. With a feature called Curious CT, we make it easier for you to tell us what you want to know about the people, places, and issues in southeastern Connecticut. You submit a question, readers vote, and we investigate and report. Go to theday.com/CuriousCT for more details. You ask, you vote, we investigate.
We're back here at Fitch High School, a 3-point lead for the visiting NFA Wildcats. Coach Giusti drawing it up. Sports Doctor, another action. How about a 57-43 lead for East Lyme over St. Bernard's?
Yeah.
The same St. Bernard's team that just knocked off Waterford,
Right.
who knocked off New London, who knocked off NFA, who lost to East Lyme, who's now beating St. Bernard's. You follow all that?
You got it.
The only
Who's
team.
Waterford playing tonight, by the way?
Waterford is playing Ledyard. Ledyard, who just got their first win by beating NFA.
Yeah.
Waterford, early 14-7 lead over the Colonels.
Sure.
Is that a
It's about normal.
fall flat game for Ledyard coming off the big
Yeah,
win?
definitely. Yeah.
So, just to be clear, other than Fitch, who's 4-0, everybody has beaten everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy.
I mean,
Wacky.
It's great, because when we go to a tournament at the end of the year, you can dial up any two teams you want into the final, and I'll believe it. There's not. I mean, you could tell me anybody. There's a
No, I don't believe that.
There's a couple teams that are less likely than others. A steal, and then back into the hands of Pierre Louis, and then another steal, and then again. And out of bounds, it'll be Falcon basketball, and
Juice looking for a call down there, looking for something.
Right now,
we got kids scrapping down there, bodies hitting the floor. I can't get a call.
I'm looking for the high-flying acrobats under this big top 10. The circus references are the fact that right now that basketball is like a greased pig. These guys, it's been the defense of these two teams going really hard. We've seen probably more loose balls in this first half than I think we've seen all year. It's been a very physical game. NFA sitting in that zone, and Fitch really trying to figure out a way around. And there's a foul, blocking foul.
Good call. On J.J. Hay, the guy, right?
Wouldn't you want to, if you were the official, if you were Dan Henderson, wouldn't you want to, rather than give number 33, wouldn't you want to say, foul's on Hay?
Hey, there's a foul on Hay.
Hey. J.J. I don't know what's a better name. J.J. Hay? My man Joe Click? Nice pass. And a return.
Oh, excuse me. Commentate that one. I dare you.
So it's going to stay here. Falcon basketball. And
it was called Ryan Outlaw Marcus.
I almost did. And there's a basket by Janiel Hernandez.
He's 6 points. Both of his buckets coming from behind the arc. 6-0 run for the Falcons, and just like that, it's a tie ball game. 14-14. You know, you're seeing a lot less of the penetration by Sproul, which made them very effective, Casey, in the early going. That's Fitch tightening things down on the defensive end, but NFA is just kind of taking the air out of the basketball and not really moving things around too well. I see
see-
Pierre Louis calling for the lob on the back end.
Coach Sylvan says I want the defensive pressure turned up. There it goes. And there's a steal. Greaves picks it off up ahead to Kershaw. And a nice job running the floor is Francis to knock it out of bounds. It'll stay Fitch basketball, but you heard Coach Sylvan. He said don't sit back. If they're gonna hold the ball, we're gonna pressure. Fitch ball. St. Ville Ravix will inbound. Looking for a cutter. Can't get it. Pierre Louis wisely pulls it up, but backside Black comes in.
Sloppy basketball.
Looking for Hernandez. They're trying to get him free in space.
Haven't seen Anderson too much of him, Casey, on the bench. Missed a couple of threes early.
Swing. Hernandez. Baseline. Hangs. Can't finish, and Pierre Louis with a strong rebound.
He might hold for the last shot.
Instead, the sweet
Euro
left
step.
hand by Jaden Francis.
The Euro step that time by Francis. That is a big step and a half.
And he was a bit of a contortionist. I don't know how he got that ball off with his left hand somehow. But it does give NFA a 2-point lead. And then almost a steal by Francis, but it'll be Falcon ball. I'm very interested to see, here's my guy, Jason Hammer, back in the ball game. He knocked down that three at the end of the first period. And we're going to get Anderson in the game as well.
Yeah,
so,
shooters.
Yeah, exactly right.
Shooters on the floor, try and take the lead or tie, going into the locker room. I think Fitch will probably hold for the last shot.
Yeah, you got 4 shooters out there now. So we'll see who gets the ball here. But you got 4 shooters. You got Hernandez, you got Anderson, you got Hammer. There's Black. We've seen him knock down a 3. Hernandez swings the Hammer. Back up top to Ravix. There's Hernandez. Fakes the 3. Kicks out. Anderson for 3. Short rim. Rebound. Pierre Louis. Outlet goes to Boone. At the buzzer, Boone just short. We're at halftime. And the NFA Wildcats have held on to their 2-point lead. They have a 16-14 lead here at halftime. The sports doctor is going to talk with Fitch coach Charles Sylvan. Sports doctor.
Coach, you guys are down by 2 heading into the locker room here at halftime. What was talked about in the second quarter?
Trying to make all the hits on the board right now. So their zone is bothering us. We have to get that. We want to attack it. One of the things we need to do is actually take some shots. We didn't get many attempts up. So I think if we can get better ball movement along with the player movement, it'll create more opportunities for us to be successful against the zone.
All right, good luck in the second half. Casey?
Thank you, sports doctor. We'll be back at halftime with lots more. You're watching Game Day live on theday.com.
Okay, class. What do you want to be when you grow up? Jace.
I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be a ballerina. I want to be an astronaut. I want to be homeless. I want to hear scary voices no one else can hear. I want to be addicted to drugs. I want to be an actress. I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be an actress. I want to be a football player. I want to be an actor.
Not one child has dreams of these things becoming a reality. Sometimes choices are set before we even have a voice.
With Sound Community Services, I found my voice.
At The Day, our journalists are in your community, talking with business owners, attending town meetings, analyzing data, talking to government leaders, reporting on the issues that matter most to you. Since 1881, we have been serving our community and will continue to do so 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Never miss a day of news. Enjoy convenient home delivery right to your doorstep, 7 days a week. Subscribe at theday.com/membership.
The J strives to cover stories our readers care about. With a feature called Curious CT, we make it easier for you to tell us what you want to know about the people, places, and issues in southeastern Connecticut. You submit a question, readers vote, and we investigate and report. Go to theday.com/CuriousCT for more details. You ask, you vote, we investigate.
We're back at Fitch High School, 2-point lead for NFA at halftime, and they got it on this in a game that's been kind of a circus at times. Jaden Francis with the contortionist move right there to put NFA on top as we head into halftime. I have Mike DeMoro, theday.com, Mike DeMoro, and I want to talk a little bit, Mike, about the league right now. As with the last time we saw, St. Bernard's had drawn within 6 of East Lyme, but can you remember a time where there were this many teams that you could throw a blanket over in the ECC?
No, Case. That's what kind of makes it fun, and there's only a 10-game season, so there's no time to figure any of this stuff out either. You got you got 10 games, then the tournament, then you're done.
Mike, who is the best team that you've seen thus far? You've seen a couple more than we have. Can you put a pulse on it yet?
Honestly, Keith, I think it's St. B's because they have 4 guys who played with each other last year. They have continuity, which other teams don't have, simply because they played together before. But St. Bernard's already lost to NFA. They might lose tonight, so maybe I'm wrong.
If we, Casey, this is a good question too. Have we undervalued East Lyme a little bit here? They've kind of gone under, Casey.
Yes.
We haven't talked about them at all.
No, so I would have said NFA was the best team. I still maintained it, and now with Jared Martin out, I'll back off of that because I think that changes things dramatically. So maybe it is Fitch, but I think more than ever, it's a matchup league more than ever before. I don't think St. Bernard's beats NFA 3 out of 10 times. But yet I think they might beat everybody else because it's such a matchup league. I like what Mike said about St. Bernard's, but East Lyme has some size, some athleticism.
Right.
And I think, we just didn't talk about him. And he's a good coach.
Mike, regurgitating the same 4 teams here night in and night out. And Casey and I don't ever talk about East Lyme.
Well, Keith, I got to tell you, honestly, before I thought East Lyme was going to be lousy.
Right.
They were 6-14 last year.
Yeah.
And I didn't think they were bringing back anybody all that great this year.
Sure.
And here they are. They're about to be 3 or 4-1.
Yeah.
And Jeff's teams are just so disciplined.
Yeah, Jeff's a good coach. Jeff is a good coach. Yeah. He's a really good coach.
Jack Biggs told me Velakis had gotten a lot better. He said Goose is a giant body and athlete. He's like, there's kids there that are just tough. Yeah. He's like, we're going to be okay. He said that we're going to compete. I think in the league, without the great team, again, it's such a league of matchups. So I think you could argue. Could you make the argument that 5 different teams could make the finals of the ECC?
Sure. Oh yeah.
At this point, it's like who can't versus who can.
Great for us.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be, people who have a rooting interest in each of those 5 schools who are going to watch. Hey, it could be us.
Yeah. Mike, while you're here too, talk about, we broke the story in the first quarter. Briefly talk about the body of work that Juicy's done here at the academy.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
His first year, he won the ECC tournament his first year.
With Marcus Outlaw shooting the ball from the parking lot.
That is not easy.
Yeah.
And I think NFA coaches never get probably the respect they deserve because it's always, anybody can win there. Meanwhile, Bill Scarlatta won 7 state championships there. There's a difference between between winning and winning like that. And
Yeah.
Juice, he's only been here as a head coach for 8 years. He's won the league twice.
Right.
And listen, there have been some times we've had our differences here, but the guy is a really good coach and he cares, and I'm going to miss him. Keith, not everybody in this league is going to give you that answer.
No,
that
he's
he
very
gave
candid,
you.
very
I'm
honest.
going to miss him. I really like the guy.
Casey, you and I talked about the NFA coaches. They're expected to win every year. These are high-pressure jobs.
Yeah.
Whether it's Jason Bakulis, whether it's Courtney Gomez,
Mike's point's a good one, though, in that to win the ECC should be an expectation for anyone who's coaching basketball, baseball, football at NFA, because they can win the conference on sheer volume of student and all that. But to compete statewide is a different animal, because by being that big, now you're playing the rest, and we've seen that in football, right? Jason Bakulis has done a fabulous job.
Tremendous.
They've been clearly the best team in the league for a couple of years, and trying to climb that ladder of the state. That's why like something that Bill Scarlatta did should be, that should be seen as so remarkable, because winning a state championship against equally sized schools is very, very challenging. This job is a great job because you can fill your gym with conference banners, but it's also a great job because you will be able to compete, as we saw last year. They'll be able to compete at a state level. Not every school in the ECC can do that every year because it's hard to reload. I think it's a great job, and I'll be fascinated to see which direction the academy goes.
I would guess they're gonna get some pretty good applicants.
Mike, that's a big job.
It's a big job.
It's a big job, not only in the league, but statewide, is it not?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
You'll get people. But there's 2,000 kids, and I think we can find five good players.
Yeah.
All right, final thoughts before we head to the start of the second half, Mike. Rate where you think the CIAC, the Department of Health, and the ECC give them a letter grade for how they've handled the basketball playing here.
A, everybody, straight A. Yeah, Case, every gym that we've been in, we felt safe. I think in the ECC right now, Wheeler, the girls program, has some issues. Nobody else does, and I believe we're going to have a full spring season.
Oh, that'd be huge. I know there were some parents disappointed in the decision to maintain the no fans.
I get it,
but I do too. Well, right now, I'm of the don't mess with a good thing. Stay home and watch Game Day live on the Day.com. Casey O'Neill and the sports doctor, Keith O'Brien, Mike DeMauro, Peter Wappy, and the crew. And we're ready to start the second half here at Fitch High School, where the undefeated Fitch Falcons are down 2 to the visiting NFA Wildcats, who have the ball in the visiting red to start the second half. And I think Coach Sylvan said it well when he said, we got to figure out that zone, and we got to turn up our intensity. There's a nice dump down out low, and can't get it to finish. Rebound comes out, and Ravix will push. Dishes, Kershaw, finish. Kyle Kershaw at the rim, ties us up. And Fitch goes right into the pressure.
Yeah, that's some recognition on the break that time. Excellent job. That's how you handle a fast break. Make the defender commit to the basketball and dump it off, get the easy 2 at the rim.
I expect the defensive pressure for Fitch to get turned up here. And there's a turnover. The one thing we were talking while you were away for a minute, Sports Doctor, was if there's a surprise, it was we thought Fitch would try to pressure NFA out the door, especially without Martin, here.
Right.
We thought they'd try to pressure him like crazy, and they've kind of been
laying back a little bit, Maybe they turn it up right here.
Click back into the ball game. I was reminded that Joe Click was the highlight of our lineman challenges this year in the fall, as he sprinted the length of the field in front of the 2 teams worth of people.
Yeah, he's a beast. With the
Absolutely.
tire on his back and the refrigerator carry, all that stuff.
Greaves, cross court. There's an open man as Hernandez pulls it up. There's a long swing pass. Ravix for 3. Good.
Good look. Good look that time. The skip pass, Casey. Ravix drained it.
Knocks it down and gives the Falcons a 3-point lead.
You're throwing the ball like that across the zone, over the top, dangerous. But if it works, again, you got a wide open look.
Well, there's a place to do it. When the ball's in transition and you're swinging it in the other direction, Click hangs, we're going to get a block. That's a tough call. Block on Kershaw as Click will go to the line. But Sports Doctor, you can't from the elbow side swing it diagonal through the zone. But if you're swinging it around the perimeter and you reverse the ball, then you can do it because you got people out of position. You just can't do it when everyone's in position. You can't.
Right. And I can tell you something right now. If I go back to my playing days and I'm going back and Click, and he's coming down the lane like that, you know what I say? I say, Olay. I said, have the layup. I'm not going to get in front of that kid's way. Look at the size of him. He's a beast. You want to take a charge from that kid?
First of all,
do you want to take a charge from him?
I'm so short he'd jump over the top of me.
I don't
think he'd have to. He'd go right over the top of me. I'd be okay with that. I'd be posterized. I'd have a knee in my shoulder.
Sure.
19-18 as Click knocks them both down.
Defense not my specialty, Casey.
I'm getting that. Hernandez, no good on the three. Tipped. Click with the rebound. Look at him run the floor. Sproul spins, finds Pierre-Louis, and who calmly knocks it down at the foul line. And just like that, a lead change.
7 for Max Pierre-Louis, and Sproul heads up, didn't turn the ball over there, found a score. Catch and shoot situation for the big man.
Hanging in the air, offensive foul called as Click. There's a banging of the bodies as Greaves and Click bang into each other.
Things are really clicking right now for NFA on the defensive end, huh? Nice job by Joe Click holding his ground and taking a charge, Case.
Sports Doctor, that's I'm gonna have to.
I'm reaching.
I'm gonna have to fine you 3 points on that. That's a 3-point fine.
I'm reaching.
Lob up ahead it goes to Francis. Baseline. There's a trap, good trap right there. And he throws it off of Kershaw. It'll stay NFA ball, but that's a good choice of trap right there. And you know, NFA's got to look for the middle. They can't get themselves caught down there because you know Fitch is going to trap every chance they get.
Yeah, Marcus Outlow's available at the foul line. I'm sorry.
Ryan
Outlaw. I'm sorry. I'm going to call him that all night.
Hey, it's a huge compliment.
It is, yeah. Ryan Outlaw is available. Just got to find him.
And one thing about Coach Chris Giusti's career is it will begin and end with an Outlaw on his roster.
I keep looking over at the bench, and Marcus is on the bench.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed in his footwear though. He had stepped it up last year. Now he's going all casual on us. Nice dump down. Greaves return pass intercepted. Outlaw will come up with it. Defensive pressure from the Wildcats. Sproul, little nifty dribble, hangs in the air and can't get it to go and knocked out of bounds and saved by Sproul to Pierre-Louis to Click. Click's jumper is no good. Pierre-Louis, and we're going to get on the floor, a tie-up, and it'll be Falcon basketball. Falcons still bothered, though, by the NFA zone. They're going to have to come up with a way of penetrating it. And we'll see Elijah Black checking back into the ball game. He'll give Chris Kershaw a breather.
NFA pretty patient and stay in that zone.
Yeah, they have to get Hernandez a good look here. Dump down it goes. Greaves, kick out. Black for three. No good backside. Rebound, Francis.
Good look.
Look at Pierre-Louis run the floor. And we're going to get a foul, and he'll go to the line to shoot too. Look at Max running.
He was the recipient of that hook and ladder play, was he not?
In my opinion, still probably my favorite play in the history of game day.
Mm.
I'm not sure we've ever had a more exciting play than that play in the context of everything.
Yeah, that's right.
Anderson into the ball game. He'll replace Ravix. I mean, that's in the pantheon of great game day moments. Is that not right there with the?
Oh, it's tremendous.
Second one, no good. It tipped out of bounds.
The Waterford basket against NFA. Remember the inbounds play where they wanted the buzzer too? That was a big time play.
The C.J. Parker layup against Ledgerd at the buzzer, a similar play. The Owen George pass to Gio Lopez.
Yes.
These are all moments, but the hook and lateral was as good as you're going to see. There's a steal on the floor by the Wildcats. Francis got a hand on it. High screen from Click. Baseline, Francis, stutter step. He finds Click again, puts it on the floor, hangs in the air. Basket is good, and the foul. Joe Click.
Oh, he's doing work. You talk about ready hands, Casey. Catch, shoot, fire, get to the line for three-point play. Making himself available, giving Coach Giusti good minutes here for the Cats.
You know who's smiling right now?
Yeah, Bakulis.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Coach,
you know, he's my guy, yeah.
Coach Bakulis is going, that's right. Football,
Yeah,
my linemen are taking care of business. We got ourselves a mask break, 4-point lead for the Wildcats. We'll be back on the other side. You're watching Game Day live on theday.com.
Okay, class. What do you want to be when you grow up? Jace.
I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be a ballerina. I want to be an astronaut. I want to be homeless. I want to hear scary voices no one else can hear. I want to be addicted to drugs. I want to be an actress. I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be an actress. I want to be a football player. I want to be an
Not one child has dreams of these things becoming a reality. Sometimes choices are set before we even have a voice.
With Sound Community Services, I found my voice.
Catherine sending us Go Cats. We got a fan right now. She's got to be happy because the Cats have a 4-point lead over the Falcons here. And Joe Click at the line. Justice Ferris.
My man.
An all-time game day favorite right there. Justice will be served. Good to see Justice sending us a little
game day
love.
challenge, he had a hard time covering me, didn't he?
I believe he.
He's playing his safety position.
I believe he picked me off one-handed, and it didn't look very good. And then you know what? He gave you grief because he said you didn't run your route right.
No, that was a kid from NFA who was telling me I was dogging it. He said sports doctor dogging it out there on the outside. Need a game day challenge to get me back in shape. How's that?
Yeah, we got
the COVID 20 pounds is not treating me well.
I say game day. There's another steal by the Wildcats. I gotta go. We gotta do the fencing. If I can't Inigo Montoya you, then my life's just not okay. Sproul, offensive foul, nicely done. Step in by Kershaw, takes the charge. Five-point lead here for NFA, and this has been. We talk about again matchups. As much as Martin means to NFA, the one thing they're still able to do is put out
defense.
a series of athletes and bodies that allow them to turn games ugly.
Play defense and hit the boards. How's that?
They can turn the game ugly.
Yeah, I mean, if your shot's not going for you, if you can play defense, hit the boards, create a few turnovers, there you go. Sproul hitting the deck.
And there's Francis stepping in as well. And there's Pierre-Louis coming up with the steal. Wisely, there's Wildcats. And we're going to get a trap, though, by Fitch. In this game, here's where it gets ugly again. Hard to the floor. Kyle Kershaw and Joe Click.
I don't think Fitch is being used to being pushed around a little bit this year. They're 4-0, and they've kind of separated themselves a little bit. And NFA's coming in with, I think, a really big chip on their shoulder. I mean, talked about Coach Giusti stepping down and resigning. Their best player's not here with them on the road. And I think these kids are fired up.
Well, I called them the gold standard before the game in that over the last couple of years, it's really run through NFA. They've been the team to beat. And Fitch has tried. They've come close, but they're going to have to overcome this hurdle. Dump down to Outlaw. Can't finish at the rim. Strong rebound from Chris Kershaw up ahead. Francis steps in, and then Kyle Kershaw picks it off, and he's going to go to the line to shoot too. So after all the scrambling, it'll end up Fitch basketball, and he'll go to the line.
He got hammered too that time. Francis laid one on him. There's going to be a no layup rule here for NFA.
You remember Georgetown when they weren't very talented offensively and they just muddied it up?
Sure.
New London a couple years ago.
Yeah.
When they just pretty much beat Mikey Bacetto down and said we're just gonna be so physical. NFA can do that because not only can they trot out a guy like Click.
Yeah.
With Pierre-Louis and Outlaw. I mean, Outlaw and Click.
Right.
That's some big bodies right there.
You talking about Georgetown Hoyas? Michael Graham and those kids, and
Well, no, they were back then. They were talented.
Yeah.
I'm talking about 5-6 years ago.
Oh, okay, all right.
You know, where they weren't very talented, and Otto Porter's years.
Yeah, okay.
Where they just beat you. They just beat you up. They tried to win everything, 53-49.
Yeah.
That's 2 big misses right there from Kershaw.
They've always had an enforcer or two at Georgetown.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Gotta help them out. That's a really, again, timeout by NFA, but like you said, we talked about this. You can't dribble down to the baseline, pick up your dribble, and then get double teamed. It's a very, very, again, right here, half court, baseline, tough areas to pick up your dribble, and you almost get caught in no man's land, but the trap comes. If nobody's helping out on the weak side, Casey, tough place.
This is where I want to see. So this is my sort of. It's not a challenge, but it's a my observation of coaching. NFA doesn't do anything. This is the exact same defense they have played in every single game this year.
Right.
Personnel's been a little different. Who's the first coach who's going to be able to attack this zone and beat it? Because we saw St. Bernard's rendered, stagnant by it. And right now, Fitch, 19 points late in the third period. Oh, look at Click.
Just hammer time. Click.
That's a big kid.
He is a big kid doing work.
So I want to see who the first coach is that comes in with a definitive game, because they're not doing anything different.
It's kind of like trying to figure out that Syracuse 3-2 zone a little bit.
Well, the matchup 2-3 that Syracuse had, yeah. But this is, you know what they're doing. Doesn't mean you can defend it. There's a steal out ahead now. Ravix ahead of the pack. Misses the layup. There's scramble on the floor. Click. Ooh. Athletic, and doesn't fall into our table, which is even better. I thought
Mike
for sure
DeMauro
it was
cleared
down.
out of the way and everything. Mike was in it.
I thought I was going
coming
down.
Up to Mikey D, and Mike was going for popcorn.
Mikey was not taking the charge.
No, he was not. I told you that.
And that kid was coming hard. Ooh.
Could you imagine the look on Peter's face if he would have cleaned out the bench here? Oh my God.
Peter, would you have charged? would you have charged NFA for the monitor?
Somebody's responsible for it.
Swing, Kershaw pulls up from about 15 feet and banks it in. And they're going to go some pressure. I think that's the key thing. I think Fitch has got to turn up the pressure right now.
They desperately need offense, too. It's a 24-21 game with a minute and change left to go in the third quarter.
Francis tried to thread the needle. It's kick, it'll be out of bounds in NFA ball. I just love the chess match, but I love the teaching and the, there's nothing more disheartening to a good zone than a team that can break it down. 3-ball, back iron, no good. Ravix comes up ahead, it goes. Greaves can't finish, gets his own rebound, turns. Aye! Seamus! Where you been, laddie? Underneath, that's a great look. Out low, and Click will go back to the line.
My man clicking. Your man Seamus delivering the goods, and my man Click. Oh, man. You've been waiting all day for that.
Waiting on Seamus to be able to finish. He's had such a hard time tonight.
He was too cute the first time by the rim. He'll make you proud. All right.
Click knocks it down, big free throw. And checking into the ball game. Now here's how often do you see this? Here's a freshman.
Yep.
6'5", Jacob Francis. 6'5" wing as a freshman. There's a name, want to watch about the cupboard not being bare? How many seniors on this Fitch team? Not a whole lot.
No.
And Click. I love it when the lineman can shoot free throws.
He has 7 points, man. He got a touchdown and an extra point for Coach Giusti today. He's played well. He's played really well, extremely active.
Under a minute. Francis gets himself in trouble. Somehow the ball comes out to Kershaw, and he steps one too many times. So with 43 seconds remaining, NFA with a 3-point lead in the basketball.
Are you kind of shocked that Hernandez doesn't have that many touches on the offensive end? Or is it just NFA's defense is that good?
Well, if I am going to be, if I'm going to be shocked by something, and I wanna say this with all the due respect to these coaches who are very, very good. My shock is that no one has figured out how to attack this zone yet.
No.
So not that I'm not shocked that Hernandez hasn't had touches. It doesn't look like they had him running baseline trying to get him involved. Francis, offensive foul. Nice job.
That's a good call. He walked before that too.
Francis taking the charge from Francis.
Right.
Dueling Francises. You know what they're going to give you coming into the game, and they started to run him around the baseline and put him in the middle. Now they're back to this perimeter thing. And so if I have a surprise, it's that we just still haven't seen anyone with a definitive plan about how to go after this zone.
Anderson's shot selection's been a little shaky tonight. Two deep threes.
Yep, shooting squad is in the game right now for Fitch, all the shooters. Cross court, Greaves. Hernandez with a pump fake.
Trying to bring Hernandez off the baseline now. Swing it.
Greaves straight away. Back iron, no good. Look at a strong rebound by Outlaw. Pierre-Louis, will he get it off? At the buzzer, no good. We got ourselves a 3-point game at the end of 3. Coming back with fourth quarter action. You are watching Game Day live on theday.com. Game Day is a production of The Day Publishing Company. If you'd like to support Game Day and help us continue to bring you the best in Connecticut high school sports, please consider purchasing a print or digital subscription to The Day at theday.com/subscribe. So, as always, we want you at home to let us know, where are you watching the game? Send us a photo on Facebook or Twitter, because you know what, Sports Doctor? We want to know who has the best virtual fan section out there. Send us a photo on Facebook or Twitter at GameDayCT, and we're going to include you in the broadcast. Game Day is brought to you by Waterford Dental Health. Waterford Dental Health voted the #1 best dental practice 6 years in a row by the Day's Best of the Best Reader's Choice Awards. Our entire team is dedicated to providing you with the personalized, convenient, and affordable dental care you and your family deserve. Waterford Dental Health. Hey, it's the Greaves family. Go Fitch. Well, the Falcons right now down 3 heading into this final quarter. And I got to think the pressure gets turned. I mean, I keep saying it, but I'm waiting for the pressure to get turned up by Fitch.
But it's got to lead to something. Easy buckets, transition scoring opportunities. It's got to go somewhere.
All right, so East Lyme held on. 63-57 win over St. Bernard's.
Wow. And Legend's playing Waterford. Mike, you got a score on that? No?
Attention, everyone out there. If someone would please tweet or text Mike tomorrow or go to social media at Game Day CT, give us a score of the Waterford and Ledger game if you're out there. 26-23 Falcons basketball. Hernandez, I think, very frustrated right now too. He doesn't show it, but he has not had the looks I'm sure he's accustomed to. He picked up his dribble right there as well. Kershaw, that was the right idea. Goes baseline, kicks out. There's an open look for Hernandez for 3. Back iron, no good. Kershaw with the rebound. Gets stuck. Ravix for 3, no good. And a beautiful athletic putback from Kyle Kershaw.
Yeah, finally some second and third chance scoring opportunities for the Falcons, Casey. Kershaw doing work on the glass.
There's a steal in the other direction. Pressure, Hernandez, 3-ball. Got it! Jamiel for Tree.
9 points for Hernandez and a quick timeout by Giusti. Cats want to talk about a case just like that, a 5-0 run to start the third quarter.
What did we see? We saw good defense and an unfortunate bounce that Kershaw outworked, got the layup, but more importantly, first
turnover.
time yes, so the basket led to pressure, led to a turnover. And then the 3-ball, and Coach Giusti wisely, basketball is that sport of runs, and if you can clip one in the making, that's what he's trying to do.
Right, and more importantly, a 3-ball by your best player, who hasn't really had a clean look or a good touch or a scoring opportunity in a while. He had to use every part of the rim and the backboard there, but it went down. So maybe that gets him cooking a little bit as well, Hernandez.
So I want to walk through this again. NFA has lost twice.
Correct.
New London's lost twice.
Correct.
St. Bernard's has lost twice.
Correct.
East Lyme has lost once.
Correct.
Ledyard has lost 4 times. 3 times.
3 times, possibly 4 if they lose to Waterford tonight.
Okay. Waterford's lost once.
Yes.
Okay.
Who did East Lyme lose to? New London?
No, they beat New London the other night.
That's right. Oh, Mikey, who did East Lyme lose to?
They lost to Fitch.
Lost to Fitch. Yeah, that's right. Okay, yep.
So if NFA were to hold on tonight, we'd have 3 teams with 1 loss and 3 teams with 2 losses.
We got a possibly team with 3 or 4 losses. And, yeah, it's crazy.
That's just balance like we haven't seen. Now, if Fitch can pull this game out, I mean, they maintain that 1-game lead over East Lyme and over Waterford. But it makes, ironically, wouldn't it be crazy if East Lyme Waterford remained the pinnacle game in the ECC?
Back-to-back turnovers off of inbound plays for the Cats. Talked about that defensive pressure being turned up. Well, the Falcons have turned it up.
Yeah, timeout. Coach Sylvan did not like the way they were approaching it. Coach Juice didn't either. No one's happy right now.
No, Juice is fired up over there.
It says something when both coaches are unhappy at the same time. I mean,
right.
But going back to the point that I just made, Sports Doctor, can you believe? I mean, there's a chance if Waterford wins that game at Ledyard, there's a chance that Waterford East Lyme becomes the premier game again in the ECC. It's like we lived for Waterford East Lyme for like 3 years.
Talk about a scorer needing a touch to get himself going, Casey. Off the turnover here. Hernandez finds himself with the basketball, using every part of the rim in the backboard, but knocks it down. And, we saw that and when NFA played St. Bernard's, when Jared Martin hit that 3 ball from the corner, got him cooking a little bit. Maybe he does the same thing for Hernandez.
Yeah, I think the key for Fitch is the pressure. Get a good look, but if I were Fitch, I would trap Pierre-Louis, Click, Outlow every time they touch the ball. I would trap them both.
53-26, Waterford putting one on Dave Cornish and the Ledyard Colonels. How's that? Beat NFA, come back, and get buried against the Lancers.
Which just furthers the whole concept that this league right now is on its ear. Zip to the corner. Greaves, pump fake, kicks back out. Straightaway 3 for Ravix, no good, and that's going to go into the hands of Grover Boone. Immediately trapped, double teamed in the corner, and we're going to get a step out on the line and a turnover. And there's that trap. You know Coach Sylvan has been trying to get them to do it every chance they can.
And Boone's a little bit undersized over there. Get a couple big people around him, and they take space on him pretty quick.
Yeah, Greaves, the long arms, Kershaw.
If I am Fitch, I'm going to work the ball around that zone, and I'm going to let 3 do some work. And if I'm 3 and I got a good look at one, I'm going to let it fly.
You got to challenge the zone, though. Challenge it with a
Yeah, you've got to move that basketball. Yep.
Well, even if you just challenge it with the dribble, 2 steps in at it, and then kick, so that the zone has to react. The zone doesn't have to react except to go laterally if you're just swinging it across. You got to threaten it. At least there's a good lob in, a kick out.
One more.
And now there's an open look. Greaves shoots the 15-footer, but that's a good open look.
I get away with the travel there.
Outlow, and now they get the hand of Sproul. Outlow, nice look underneath. Pierre-Louis, too many passes to Click. And we're going to get a tie-up and a travel.
That's a good call.
But I'll tell you one thing that Joe Click was not going to do was give up the basketball.
No. Broke his mask and everything. Click's got to come out of the game. That's how you know you're in the game. You snap your mask.
Coach Juicy wanted a tie-up. He did not like the jump ball, but Joe Click's going to go grab himself another mask, and checking into the ball game will be Jason Benoit. So the last time Fitch at least got that ball into the high post and was able to swing it into an open look, I'd still like to see that person at the high post threaten, though. Threaten the zone. Even here, a couple dribble penetration, a couple dribbles if you need to diagonal pass. Greaves, there was the dump down.
Kershaw's making himself available. You just got to give him the rock.
Back on top now, nice pressure. Gets the ball out of Hernandez's hands. Lob. Kershaw for 3, back iron, no good. Greaves can't control it. Tips it into the hands of Benoit. Up ahead, Benoit pulls the dribble up, gets it to Francis. Hernandez right on him, and we're going to get a touch foul on Janiel Hernandez. Joe Cliff,
Yeah, it's
back into the ball game.
a 5-0 run. It's a 5-0 run this quarter with 4:38 left to go in it by East Lyme. FA has not scored.
So Click back in the game. He gets it, spins, heads to the basket, and he'll get fouled. Kershaw on the floor.
That's Chris Giusti over there lobbying for that little touch foul on the outside. Working the refs.
That'll send Click to the line for 1-on-1. Big free throw here for Click, front end of the 1-on-1. Knocks it down with a little help from the rim. He'll get another, a chance to tie the game.
8 points. Click, leading scorer for the Cats, along with Pierre Louis, also with 8. How'd you like to be Chris Giusti? And he says your leading scorer tonight's gonna be Joe Click.
I would have said I had no chance in this thing.
And you're down by 1 with 4 and change to go.
And the basketball as the Falcons tipped it out of bounds. Greaves will come back into the ball game, giving Kershaw a break. Nice to hear the lovely dulcet sounds of Jay Wolfrad, the soccer coach at Fitch High School. He does a great job on the PA, and whenever I doubt what I'm watching, I get to listen to him, and he tells me. Ow, hard to the floor goes Greaves. So inbounds for the Wildcats. And knocked out of bounds. It'll stay Wildcat basketball, so we'll do it again. 4:30 remaining here in the ballgame. Pierre Louis grabs it in the backcourt, brings it in, and there's a beautiful steal from Hernandez. Doesn't have the numbers, turns the Jets on though, pulls it back out, and a timeout from Coach Charles Sylvan with 4:20 remaining. Fitch with a 1-point lead and the basketball.
I was talking to you before the game, to a little bit of a sidebar about the Celtics, Brad Stevens. Think they'll make a switch at the end of the year?
You know, I think it's an incredible indictment of the modern NBA and the players in the NBA that the shelf life of a coach like Brad Stevens is this long, because
you've been there what, 7 years, 8 years,
and they're either tuning him out. I mean, that team is not playing hard for him, which has been the one thing you've always been able to say about the Celtics was that they played hard. And I mean, I don't know that losing Gordon Hayward. I mean, clearly he was out so much. I don't know how that could be the thing. Marcus Smart, does he mean that much to this team?
Yeah, who tunes them out though? Is it Tatum and Brown, and then everybody else, or is it because of the fact that they haven't even been to a finals yet? I mean,
well, I'm going to start with 3 things. First of all, right now they're not very good.
Yeah,
so I don't know that he has a lot of options, which makes it limited. Number 2, without Marcus Smart, they are not nearly as defensively tough. So I don't know how good they can play that way. But then the third thing is that the 2 big guys are just not getting it done. I mean, Brown, and they're both going to the All-Star game. You got a team that's got two All-Stars, and they can't beat anybody.
Yeah, Kemba's a bad fit for that team too. I just think he's a bad fit.
I agree. So discouraging right now with the Celtics. If I were to ask you right now, who's the next Boston team to play for a championship, not even win one, to play for a championship, who would you say?
Oh, geez, the Bruins, I guess. I don't even know. I don't know. Red Sox?
Oh,
that's a great question.
I did love I did love Alex Cora today on the radio. Did a great job.
Yeah,
he's optimistic.
I couldn't even tell you what the Red Sox have in their lineup anymore.
I can tell you.
I know you. Sure. You can tell me the exit velocity in all these players too. Bat speed, launch angle, everything.
Sports Doctor, you just don't like.
No, we're good.
You don't like analytics because your boss said you made 14 right turns today, and you should have. So you're biased towards the analytics. So why'd you take 14 rights? You're supposed to take 13.
Left. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. And I understand. We were talking with Peter Wappy about it before. I get it a little bit now. I get it.
We have a mask break. We'll keep it here right now. The mask break is being discussed, and players are given their chance. So 4 minutes remaining.
Who is still on the Red Sox, by the way? Benintendi's been traded, right?
All right. So
Betts is gone.
Your starting catcher is still Christian Vasquez.
Okay.
All right. Your starting shortstop is still Bogarts. Your starting third baseman is still Devers.
Yeah.
Your starting center.
JD
Your starting center fielder right now, because Bradley's a free agent still, is Alex Verdugo.
What?
Alex Verdugo, their best player on their team last year.
All right.
JD Martinez is still your DH.
Yeah.
And right now, you've got Kike Hernandez came over from the Dodgers.
Okay.
He would be their second baseman. But you've also got Bobby Dahlbeck, who was a breakout last year as a rookie, is their starting first baseman. And they got Hunter Renfroe over from the National League, power threat.
Who's their number one arm? Still Sale?
Well, to start the year, it's going to be Rodriguez. It'll be Erod.
Yeah. Is Sale still pitching?
Yeah, he'll be back in late June probably off of the Tommy John.
$74 million a year or something like that?
Evaldi's still there. And they got a couple young kids in Houck and Pavetta, who came over from the
They're not the best team in that division.
They're probably the fourth best team in that division. Oh, there's a step in and steal by Sproul. And just like that, the Wildcats have the lead. Little lazy on the offensive end for the Falcons.
Just heartening on. Nice look.
Sheamus with eyes in the back of his head to Kershaw. Just like that, the Falcons are back up 1, and there's pressure on the ball. And we're going to get a timeout from Chris Giusti as Francis picked up the dribble. He was pressured by Kershaw. Kyle Kershaw putting the screws. Look at Giusti.
He's coaching. He is fired up with Sproul.
He is animated right now. Oh, yeah, but you know what? Just watch. He is fired up.
Yeah.
He's going to draw it up. So, so you still got the Red Sox are going to be okay. I mean, the Yankees are the class of the division. The Blue Jays are much improved.
Tampa?
You can't count Tampa out, but I think the Red Sox could fit right into that spot. But they're not the best. I mean, they're not in the
Will
same
there
boat.
be fans this year at Fenway?
Yes.
40%, 30%,
well,
20%.
In what was a very interesting move, and I got.
Do I need a card for my shots before I go to Fenway?
I think Peter Wappy. I want you to. So, Boston, the mayor of Boston had not announced whether or not fans would be allowed, and so the Red Sox, and rightly so, said, "Well, then we're going to stay in Florida. We'll play our home games here in Florida because we can guarantee the weather and we can have some people.
Wow.
Why go to Boston if no one's going to be there?
And play your home game.
Right. Why would go if no one's going to be there?" And the Boston mayor said, "Well, we're going to allow 15% capacity at games, so there will be fans to start the year in Fenway."
Okay.
But I mean, that's a great point. If you're not going to allow fans, why leave Florida? Why not stay and have the warmth? Get the games in. Where would you want to play April 1st?
Fort Myers. Are you kidding me?
There's a trap. Nice look. Pierre-Louis to Click. Back it goes. Francis for 3. Backside, no good. But look, Click spins, hangs, and draws the foul. Back to the line, Joe Click.
Oh, he is working out there, isn't he? Making himself available, making the best out of his minutes. Click is one of those kids that's seen a little more playing time with Martin out of the action. Is that correct?
Yes.
You would say so?
Yeah, because they're going big. They're going to go with that big line of Click and Outlaw. Outlaw's minutes have increased. The Outlaw, if you notice, Outlaw and Pierre-Louis don't come off the floor.
They do not come off the floor.
So that's where you're seeing those minutes right now. One more for Click in a tie ball game. Back iron in and out, and Greaves pulls down the rebound. In answer to my own question, I do think the Bruins are the closest to playing for a championship. They have the best roster.
Better than the Patriots?
Yeah, they have the best, right? Patriots got 3 huge signings today. Yeah. Patrick Chung and Brandon Hightower and Marcus Cannon have all decided they're playing next year.
Play next year, okay. They have a quarterback.
Not yet. Someone will play there. They had a quarterback last year. Someone will play there. Otherwise, the snaps go all the way back.
Right.
Hernandez
wanted
to
shoot it.
He thought about it.
I give him the green light on that.
A tie game. There's a good look into Kershaw. Reverse pass. Hernandez spins baseline and kicks it back out to Greaves. The thing is,
go to it. You got to go to the basketball. Don't get too lazy with that passing, because we've seen the length of NFA disrupt.
Pump fake. Hernandez floater short. Rebound on the floor will be jump ball between Outlaw and Greaves. That'll be NFA Kershaw NFA basketball. So
Well, that's a good question. Mike tomorrow just asked a good question.
I'll give you first crack at it. I have my answer.
I think it's a bad matchup. I think it's a tough matchup for Fitch. Yeah, okay. Mike asked the question, is NFA exposing Fitch a little bit, or is it a bad matchup?
So the answer is yes to the question. The answer is yes to both parts.
Yes.
Because part of it is NFA is going to be a bad matchup for everyone. Pierre-Louis in and out on the 15-footer, gets his own rebound off a tip, saves it to Click. Click, out low with a pump fake. Where's the NFA shot going to come from? Back up top.
And we talked about this. Last 3 minutes of the game, who's going to step up without Martin in the game?
High screen from Click. Sproul. NFA is a bad matchup for anybody because of the approach they take with the ugly zone. But Fitch is being exposed similar to St. Bernard's in the inability to attack it. And so until someone figures it out and there's a steal, Hernandez, we're at a minute remaining in a tie ball game. So I think Fitch did not do a great job attacking it. So I think the word exposed is maybe a little strong. What it is that in a half-court set where against this kind of zone, Fitch does not thrive. Fitch wants to be chaotic, out and running and pressure, and against a team willing to do that with them, they're very good. So I don't think it's about being exposed. I think that that NFA is a bad matchup for a lot of teams,
right,
and Fitch is not well suited to match up with.
Right, and I would say to the fact too, Casey, it's NFA style, no matter, like you said, a bad matchup, NFA style makes it hard for whoever it is playing them to run. They don't let teams get out and run and get out on the break. They just don't allow it to happen.
Yeah.
You don't see track meets against NFA. You didn't see it at all last year. They control and dictate the pace and the tempo of the game, with their defense and with their offense, because at times their offense can be very, very methodical and at times kind of ugly.
So look at the two teams who beat NFA.
Yeah.
New London
and
Ledger.
Right.
Neither has been particularly dynamic offensively this year.
No.
But what do both of them do well?
They can play ugly basketball.
That's right.
Yeah.
So they matched up with NFA's ugliness. New London went, you want to be ugly? We'll see you're ugly and raise you ugly.
Yeah, and Dave's not afraid to do that either. You get 13 from Jones and 13 from Gagel, and and you got yourself in the mix-ins for the right recipe. I mean, Ledger played these guys very hard last year in the ECC final.
Yes.
That was a ball game until about 4 minutes ago.
New London's got very good guards, and they probably were able to create as well, but they were perfectly happy.
Yeah, Mike
playing
was there. Mike was at that game.
So I really think that it is matchups, and the two teams NFA lost to were able to play that brand of basketball.
Got shooters on the floor now. Anderson in the game.
Under a minute. I mean, I think Fitch will take the last shot if they can.
And NFA extending a little bit on defensive end.
Oh, great look. Jameis to Kershaw for the basket.
There you go. You came out, you played defense, you left yourself exposed on the back end.
Click, hangs, can't finish, and Greaves with the strong rebound, and he's fouled. Only the fourth foul on NFA, so it'll still stay Fitch ball, but with only 23 seconds remaining, NFA is going to have to try to trap, and then they're going to have to foul. And there's only 4 fouls, so they got 3 to give here. Fitch is just going to try to milk as much time as they can.
In a jump ball situation, a tie-up, Fitch has the arrow.
That's a great
good thing to keep an eye on.
That's
so
a great
kids
point.
Gets tied up.
That's a great point, Sports Doctor. I'd be shocked with 23 seconds remaining. I'd be shocked if we didn't get one tie-up. Fitch is clapping, NFA is not. No one from NFA is different on the floor, so I'm not exactly sure what. But
Did you say Click was fouled?
But now Click's at the line. I don't know what this call is. Where's AJ Ganelli when we need him?
We need an explanation here. I don't understand. He was fouled?
So Coach Giusti's, well, out of all of this,
well,
we've
they're
got
trying to get an
1
explanation
and 1.
here. I don't know what the deal is.
We got 1 and 1 for Click, it looks like. Down 2. I mean, They must
I
have
thought
said,
there was a foul against NFA.
Are they saying?
Oh, Greaves is fouled out. Okay, so Greaves is fouled out. I originally thought that the foul was called against. Yeah, Greaves is out.
All right, so
Wow,
Greaves
this
is fouled out
changes
of
the
the
whole
game.
complexion of the game.
Yeah, talk about pressure free throws. Big man here. First one's up and nothing.
Ah, smooth.
Didn't even hit the cylinder on that one.
Smooth. 10 points for Click, double figures.
And here comes the big one. Second one up for Click, and he got it.
How smooth is that?
Calmly steps up and
How
knocks them both down.
smooth is that
Yeah.
by Joe Click?
So Fitch going to get the final shot here. 18 now remaining, 32 all.
Anderson on the bench, one of the shooters. Gotta go. You gotta go now.
8 seconds.
You
There's
gotta
Hernandez.
go.
Swing. Back to
There's your
Hernandez.
shot.
4 seconds. 3. Pulls up at the buzzer. Kershaw. Oh, it came in the
God.
cylinder and out. And we're going to overtime. And Chris Giusti is fired up that his team was able to hold on. We'll have overtime basketball. Come on back. You don't want to miss this. You're watching Game Day Live. Day.com. Well, in a short season that's already seen an absolute nut house of equity.
That's good.
A league where you don't know what's happening minute to minute. We went from thinking Fitch had the ball up to an offensive lineman knocking
Shooting
down
a 1-on-1?
knocking down 2 free throws
Yeah.
to send us into overtime.
And then Fitch missing a 3 and almost getting the tip at the wire.
Kershaw's follow, which was athletic. I mean, look how close this comes to going into the basket.
Yeah,
I mean,
off the miss.
He got it up with almost no time, and it hung on the cylinder. Hernandez wild 3. Look at the athleticism of Kershaw, sports doctor, and look at this
On his
ball.
way down.
It is in the
Oh,
cylinder.
my.
You know what that looks like? It looks like a putt at Norwich.
It does. Yes, it does. Yeah.
It's in the
They've had a
cylinder.
few of them,
Why
yeah.
don't you go home?
Oh, boy. But I don't like the the last shot of the game, I don't like that. Let's take it down to 2 seconds and chuck one up. I'm going to start cooking at about 12 seconds, starting to make something happen. I feel like, Casey, when you get down to the 4 second, 3 second, everything's rushed. And you don't get, Hernandez shot that ball, but he didn't have a clean look.
No.
His feet were not set. He just kind of chucked it up there and looking for something on the back end. But, I'd like to see Fitch get into something a little more productive, a little sooner. 7, 8 seconds left to go. Look to make your move.
If I told you, our first broadcast was just 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
If I told you 2 weeks ago that NFA's best player on the floor was going to be the offensive tackle that ran the field, you would have said,
Sure.
What? You said,
Yeah,
huh? What are you talking?
Who?
What have you been sipping in that cup there, Casey? Dump down to Outlaw, and Fitch turning up the pressure. Outlaw bullies his way to the basket, no good, tipped, and Kershaw fighting, but Click comes down with it. That's where Greaves' presence is missing. Kick out, 3 ball, got it!
And the
Jaden
foul.
Francis for 3, and the foul. 4-point opportunity for the Wildcats.
3-point field goal. Basket is good. 6 foul called on number 22, Chris Kershaw.
What a shot by the senior Jaden Francis off of the work from Outlaw and Click.
Francis is fired up. Coach Giusti's fired up. We have another guy foul out.
And that's going to be Kershaw coming out of the game,
Yeah.
Chris Kershaw. And so Fitch is going to go small here. Hammer's going to come in the ball game. He's a 3-point guy. But the size right now for Fitch is non-existent. Kyle Kershaw is about the only big body on the floor for them, and he's really more of a wing.
Anderson's on the bench, too.
Missed free throw from Francis, but a 3-point lead here in overtime for NFA. And a timeout Dan Henderson, the official, says my time. And he will.
Okay, so 4 minute overtime period, not 5. So there should be 3:32 left to go in the game.
All right, so they're going to reset the clock.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I was paying attention. I just didn't know the rule. So
Yeah.
I plead ignorance as opposed to apathy.
The NFA extending on the wings.
Black trapped.
You
Hernandez,
gotta shoot
he had
that
it.
ball.
Ravik straight away, no good, side rim. Hammer with the rebound, though, for the Falcons. Back up top it goes to Ravix. Hammer, open look, short. Oh, Pierre-Louis.
I gotta see Hernandez pull the trigger on that. He had a wide open look.
Oh, almost a steal by Hernandez, but Francis holds on, and NFA can milk it right now. Click, pull up, no good. Rebound comes out to Hernandez. Crossover, drives 1-on-4, floater, back iron, no good. Click with a strong board. Falcons starting to sense a little trouble right now.
Yep.
That was a great trap by Ravix. Kershaw steps in, getting a little ugly. Pierre-Louis to Click, out low, pump fake, and look at the defense from Black. Falcons reaching, flying, clawing like the Falcons.
Oh, that ball is out on out low.
Look at
Yeah.
John Yell. Look at John Yell Hernandez right now. Look at it. He is exhausted. He has not come off the floor, and he is cooked right now. He is tired. There are some tired kids out there right now. Who's going to step up for the Falcons? Down 3. Here it goes. Kershaw, pull up, 10-footer, back iron, no good. He gets his own rebound, tipped. Reset. Hammer, blocked for 3. That looked like Benoit that got the block.
Gotta make that extra pass on the wing, find the score.
Click. Basket is good off a great look from Francis, and it's a 5-point lead for NFA. Black for 3, no good. Weak side rebound, Hammer. Right now, Fitch can't, they're down 5, they can't get a look. Hernandez, pump fake, floater, in and out. Rebound ripped down by Click, jump ball favors Fitch.
Well, you talked about a little bit of a lid on the rim, Casey. The putts at Norwich not falling. That's a couple of good looks by some Falcons player. We saw one at the end of regulation. And that Hernandez, that's a good look. Hit every part of the rim, it comes in and out.
77-59. Waterford finished.
Let's Fitch.
Finished
Yeah,
the
let's
thumping on. Finished the thumping. There's a nice look. Anderson partially blocked by Benoit. No, check that. Francis. Reach in. Tie up. Timeout from Chris Giusti. Fitch right now has had chances. They can't get it to go down.
They can't get the ball to go down. Yeah, and right now in a tie-up situation, NFA now has possession.
Yes. So right now, 5-point lead, 1:08 remaining. NFA looking to hold on to give Fitch their first loss of the year. If that happens, East Lyme, Waterford, and Fitch will all have one loss.
Yeah.
And St. Bernard's, New London, NFA will all, and St. Bernard's and Waterford NFA will all have 2 losses.
2 losses, 3 and 2.
Okay. Another Fitch fan.
Eleanor.
Hello, Eleanor. Go Fitch. Well, right now your Falcons are down 5 with 1:08 remaining, so you got to get a little mojo working out there, Fitch fans, if you want to see this game get a little closer, because the biggest problem Fitch has right now, they can't get a good offensive look. They can't let this get into the half court. They have to get a stop, and they got to get a turnover.
10 fouls on Fitch, 2 NFAs in a double bonus situation. 2 shots here on out. You know, Fitch's done everything but put the ball in the basket. And, and at the end of regulation, Casey, and a couple looks in overtime here. Hernandez with a good look or two. And, boy, it's just one of those. How many times have you seen it where a team forces overtime, gets new life on a missed shot, then flourishes in the extra period? And NFA's played, they dictated everything here in the overtime.
And you know what? We talk about coaches going to work on the 3-2 zone. Tough to do because you can't replicate NFA's size.
No, they broke the pressure.
And the athleticism. It's hard to replicate.
You got to trap now. You got to trap.
Under a minute remaining. There comes the trap.
You got to trap and foul.
Out low, puts it to the floor, hangs. Basket is good. And the foul.
Oh, chest bumping with Joe Click.
Ryan Outlaw and Joe Click. I believe we'd call him the Biggins.
Yeah.
7-point NFA lead in overtime.
As a proud basketball coach over there on the sidelines, there's a proud football coach at home right now watching this game too. Jason McCoulis.
Click, hangs, can't finish, but Outlaw there, out working on the boards. And Fitch will end up with the basketball. Anderson for 3, no good. Look at Pierre-Louis, mon ami.
Fitch can't buy one.
28 seconds, 7-point lead.
Isn't this typical, Casey, where an undermanned team comes in and just wins a game like this on the road in overtime?
You need to ask, you have to promise me, if NFA holds on here, that you will ask Coach Chris Giusti, will he be texting Coach Bakulis after the game to thank him?
Yes, thank him. It's
to
a
thank
good
him
question.
For Pierre-Louis, Click, and Outlaw, the three football guys.
Yeah. Yeah, the guy that needs a game check is Jason Bakulis. Yeah. It's a big win for NFA. It's a big win. How much of the fact that Chris Giusti announced this be his last year carrying to this game? You think they'll feed off the energy of that?
I don't think the kids know yet, but they're gonna find out because they watch Game Day live on theday.com. Back to it. How about a 9-point lead? I mean, that biggest lead by far. Anderson loses the ball and he'll pick up the dribble. Swing to the corner. Hammer for 3. Back no good. Saved, and of course, who gets the basketball but Click? In the other direction now. Up ahead it goes to Click. 3 seconds, and there is your ball game. 41-32. NFA with an improbable overtime victory over the previously undefeated Fitch Falcons. A disappointing effort for Fitch, and the sports doctor will be with head coach Chris Giusti as well as our Waterford Dental Health Player of the Game. If you don't know who it is, stay tuned as we will bring you that. 41-32. The energy expended by Pierre-Louis and Click and Outlaw. What an effort from the Wildcats. We'll start with Coach Giusti first. His team just knocked off the 4-0 Fitch Falcons.
Coach, what a huge win on the road like this. I got to think that Jason Bakulis, the football coach, is going to get a game check sooner or later. Talk about the play of your team tonight.
I don't know about check, but maybe game ball.
All right, talk about the play of your team tonight.
Just gritty, tough. I told them before the game, I don't care what the final score is. I want everybody watching on theday.com to know who the tougher team was. And we were just so tough tonight. It wasn't pretty. I think you need maybe to kind of throw some coupons to some of the viewers. It wasn't pretty, but we're happy with the win.
Why is your zone so tough? Why is it, the last couple of years, teams in this league haven't been able to crack that zone?
Communication and repetition. Repetition is the mother of learning, of course, and we've just been practicing and playing it for so often. And, we got strong athletic guys, too.
Sure.
Let's tell it like it is. I got Max Pierre-Louis is playing, basically 50% the last 3 games. He's got a bad hammy. We're going to give him the weekend off. And, I couldn't say enough about these guys. Honestly, I've never been more proud. Maybe as proud, but never been more proud of a team's effort than tonight.
Coach, during this season right now, too, how do you measure up this league? How do you shape it up? You've got teams picking each other off.
Wide open.
Waterford won tonight. East Lyme, nobody talks about them. You guys are in the mix. You talk about it is wide open.
You got to come it's kind of cool in a way.
Yeah.
Because you got to come and
Is
put
it cooler
all
than
out there.
you had an undefeated season last year, and you're grinding one out now?
Yeah, you gotta make sure that you saw a lot of the tackles and bumps, and so you got to be willing to say, I'm gonna flush this. I'm not gonna get frustrated, and I'm just gonna get to the next play and battle. And I think any team really, if they have that mindset, can win a game on any given night.
Coach, on a personal note, how much fun are you going to try to have the last 5 games of the regular season and the tournament later on in March?
Just trying to enjoy, like everybody says, this is a blessing that we're even playing. I told you before the game, I'm still kind of surprised that we've lasted this long. Credit to our athletic staff, our training staff, Roy Wentworth and Kayla Donovan, hammering us to make sure we're socially distanced. And I'm just taking it one day.
This has been one ride, though, hasn't it, for 21 years?
Absolutely. And I've just been truly blessed working for a guy like Neil Kurland and working with all these great young men at the Norwich Free Academy. I'm just really lucky.
I can tell you're fired up, Coach. Go enjoy it with your team. We'll see you down the road. And stay healthy.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
And now the Waterford Dental Health Player of the Game. Sports Doctor, immediately game day favorite.
He's all smiles underneath his mask. Waterford Dental Health Player of the Game, Joe Click. Joe, 13 points tonight. Boy, where did that come from?
We've been practicing with intensity all week. Us as a team, we've been working. We've been focusing on defense. We were just lucky to come out and just play hard.
You knew it was going to be a tough game. Fitch was undefeated. You guys are coming off of a loss against Ledyard. Your star player, Jared Martin, is not here tonight. How did you guys, rally as a group, and how did you pick up your level of play?
Yeah, we were coming out flat the last 3 games. We weren't playing to our ability, and we in practice we emphasized rebounds, defense. We were just pushing ourselves, man, all throughout this whole week.
You got some big bodies up front. Yourself, Marcus Otlo, Pierre Louis. You guys take pride in that. You seem to really want to dominate the game.
Yeah.
And lastly, any messages for Coach Jason Bakulis right now? Might be watching at home.
Thanks for getting me in the weight room.
Yeah, I know. Hey, Joe, enjoy the night. It's going to be a wild ride these last 5 games of the season.
Yeah.
Waterford Dental Health Player game. 13 points. You ever score that many in a game?
Not in a varsity game.
No, sir. He sounds like the sports doctor. Great job tonight, Jace.
Thank you, Sports Doctor. Well, in a season that has not been very long, but has certainly been every bit the topsy-turvy confusion that you, I guess, would hope for. You heard a very, very passionate Chris Giusti who said, if you're going to play in this league this year, you better bring it, because the team with the most effort, the team with the most toughness can win on any given night. And the amount of pride, a little shout out, 41-32.
Yeah, game day. There you go.
You're right. There's your final. The Wildcats. I said before the game that that someone's going to have to knock them off. They've been there at the top of the league the past couple of years. New London will always be in my mind the green and gold standard. But
of course.
But Waterford was the top dog for a while, and NFA has become the top dog. And it's a team that knows how to compete, and they obviously take the personality of their coach. And I think it's a good loss for Charles Sylvan, because this is a quick reminder that, guys, we have to be better if we're going to be. You can't play a team like that. They got bullied around.
Yeah.
And I think Chris Giusti was very clear that he is as proud as he's ever been, because this team showed tremendous toughness.
Listen, you're coming off of a tough loss against Ledyard. You're without your star player. A lot of question marks in his own personal decisions and leaving the program after this year. And you've got to find kids to step up, and you've got to find kids that kind of believe a little bit. And I think that's what Coach is more proud of tonight from his team. Whether it's Click, whether it's Spruill, Ryan Outlaw never came off the floor. So when I push a button and kids need to respond, they responded well tonight.
And let's not forget that in overtime, it was a senior, Jaden Francis, who might have only taken 2 shots all
big
game
big
that
three.
knocks down the 3 to give him the lead. So, you know, you were saying who steps up without Jared Martin in the lineup? Well, everybody did something tonight. I mean,
they had to, right?
Yeah,
they had to.
I mean, Pierre-Louis played amazing. Click, Outlaw. The guards, I mean, we saw early in the game Tyler Sproul and then, you know, Francis knocking down the shot. So everyone has to play big in order to win a game like this. But, you know, the improbable happens too, and Francis stepped into a 3 like he was, you know, destined for it.
Yeah. It's a huge win. I'm very impressed with NFA. And like you said, Fitch is, you know, Fitch may have been exposed a little bit, but again, it's that style of the NFA defense that, you know, that 3-2 matchup, it's tough to crack. I mean, Fitch is going to be fine. Yeah, some good ball players over there, but it is a crazy, crazy league this year.
I'm looking forward to seeing East Lyme. We haven't seen them yet. We'll see Ledyard. And then next
Tuesday night.
And Ledyard East Lyme. That'll be fun to see the Vikings and the Colonels, and you know Dave Cornish is going to be back on them again for Ledyard, and East Lyme is going to have to try to. You know, they're not going to be overlooked anymore.
No.
You know.
Nope.
And then of course next Friday, I'm very, very excited. We'll be at NFA for the Bacon Academy girls against the NFA girls, and that should be a lot of fun. Those two teams. You know, really, really competitive on a state level. They're going to battle it out there for the top of the ECC right now, Bacon Academy and NFA. So, well, it was kind of what we expected.
It was fun. It was fun basketball, and like you said, you know, the level of passion that Chris Giusti brings to the coaching arena, the game, the kids, to game day.
Yeah.
It's tremendous. A breath of fresh air.
Absolutely. So another fun one in the books. We'll be back Tuesday night, Ledyard and East Lyme. Next Friday, Bacon Academy girls and the NFA girls. For Peter Wappy, Mike DeMoro, and the crew, and for the sports doctor, Keith O'Brien, I am Casey O'Neill saying have a safe Friday, everyone.